We've all seen it time and time. Our favorite and lovable fighter who had that iron chin finally gets hit in the right spot and it's lights out. Everyone starts freaking out and saying he just lost his chin, which just means that you've either been knocked unconscious or have just took a grueling amount of punishment in a fight and are now more susceptible to being KO'd in future fights. When previously fans would expect you to take massive amounts of damage and just keep trucking along. Examples of some iron chins that were cracked include Overeem, Chuck, Mark Hunt, and most recently, Volko. Now Volko is not definitively on this list. The other guys all have something in common. After they were KO'd in their future fights, their durability just wasn't the same. They went from eating heavy shots like a Tic Tac to one decent punch and it's down to the shadow realm they go. Their granite chins turned into glass chins. As for Volko, his head is still massive. Look at it. He recently got head kick clean KO'd by Islam, but before that, Volko had never been KO'd. Hell, he would rarely even be wobbled after taking some good shots. But after that Islam head kick, a lot of fans are questioning if that chin is still there. So it's not 100% confirmed whether Volko's chin is still there, but his upcoming fight against Ilya should answer that question. Ilya is a heavy hitter and that fight is just 5 months after Volko got put to bed. So if Volko can eat some good shots from Ilya and get the W, then it's safe to say that beautiful chin of his is still there. I mean, there's a good amount of fighters that have been knocked out and just went on like it never even happened. Take Usman and Wonderboy for example. Everybody knows the Leon Usman head kick heard around the world. The Nigerian Nightmare's nightmare came to life. He got KO'd so bad his daughter started crying thinking her dad just got laid to rest. Which is another thing. Stop bringing your kids to these events. Same thing with Frankie Edgar in his last fight. Any kid under the age of 14 should not be seeing their mom or dad getting their ass beat or violently laid to rest. Anyways, after that brutal KO, Usman would go 5 rounds with Leon and then 3 rounds with Hamza at middleweight. Now, he did end up losing both fights, but he was no slouch. He was dealing damn near what he was receiving, eating heavy shots and still brawling. Same thing for Wonderboy. Somehow, lightweight Anthony Pettis of all people Superman Flash KO'd Wonderboy. Wonderboy previously went through 2 wars with the heavy-handed prime Tyrone Woodley. And I'm not talking about that Woodley that got KO'd by Jake Paul either. Straight embarrassing. Overall, in his career, Wonderboy has showed an iron chin. I mean, he is one of the top strikers that knows how to roll the shots, but still, the dude can take a punch. A lot of people were questioning if his chin was still there and if it was the start of the downfall of his career. But he'd bounce right back and get 2 wins over Neal and Luque. And both these guys are pretty heavy-handed. So it's not guaranteed. If you get KO'd one time, that's it. Your chin is done. People have to remember, anyone can get knocked out if they get hit in the right spot or after taking a ton of blows. If you don't see the punch coming and don't have time to react, it might just be bedtime. Plus, losing your chin doesn't always mean that you have a glass chin now either. You can lose your chin and still be able to take a lot of hits. But in this case, you just won't be as good a fighter as you were before. Take Donald Cerrone and Tony Ferguson as examples. Both guys were known for their toughness, but in the latter ends of their careers, they were shells of their former selves. Donald was just from progressive damage over the course of his career. My boy Tony's case was that godforsaken Gaethje fight. Justin beat the ever-living shit out of Tony to the point where Herb Dean had to call a TKO because Tony just wouldn't go down. From that point forward, Tony was never the same, is now on a 6-fight losing streak. Now, he's only been KO'd once since then, and that was an upkick from a roided up Chandler, and probably that would have KO'd anyone. But instead of a glass chin, when someone says Tony's chin is gone, they mean his durability. Tony just doesn't run right through punches anymore and land his own attacks. All the damage from his fights and training has finally caught up to him. Mans needs to retire. As for future chins to be cracked, I don't want to jinx it, but it's on everyone's mind. Fan favorite Max Holloway, which is common for these iron chin discussions. A lot of these guys are normally fan favorites because they put on exciting fights, both taking and dishing out crazy amounts of damage. As for Max, his next fight is him going back up to lightweight from featherweight. Now, Max has been on a tear in the featherweight division, so there's not really a big case to doubt his chin at the moment. The reason for all the talk is that Holloway is undersized for lightweight, and Justin is just such a power puncher. Gaethje throws everything full power with bad intentions, like you just double cross his grandma. Add in that the last time Holloway went up a weight class, he faced Dustin Poirier. That fight was for the interim lightweight belt, and Dustin's weight advantage was pretty clear. It showed in the clinch, and every time Dustin landed, it had more of an effect as compared to Max's punches. When you add that in, people jump on the end of Max's chin is near train. But we can't forget that other than Volko, Max has been beating all the big names in the featherweight division. Kattar, Yair, Allen, and the Korean Zombie, don't sleep on the guy. I think the big factors that mainly play on the whole chin thing are genetics and overall career damage. One is you need a thick ass skull. If you got that Samoan big bone DNA, then I'm gonna go ahead and bet that it'll most likely take a baseball bat to the back of the head to put your big ass out. On the other hand, if you got some paper thin bone, then blow on you and lights out like Johnny Walker. The other factor is just how much damage you're taking. No matter how good your genetics are, if you take enough damage, sooner or later you will go night-night. Just how it works. A big thing is how hard you're sparring. If you're taking a lot of hits during sparring sessions, then those count too. It's not like these guys are just taking hits during their fights. They're training 2 to 3 times a day for hours at a time and going through grueling rounds. All that adds up. Max has talked about this in interviews, about how he doesn't even spar at all, which is a big reason as to why his chin has lasted so long. Now, as to if that equates to how long he lasts in bed, we might need to do a little more research on that topic, if you know what I mean.